Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. My track guide for the Toyota GR86 going around Red Bull Ring the Grand Prix layout. Let's get into it. We want to start out on the left side of the track. We can open up turn 1 quite a lot by using the outside curb here. That will help you get a better exit speed out of turn 1. We want to brake halfway between the 100 and the 50 board here on the left. I aim for 80% brake pressure and trailing that off till just before the curb on the inside. Just before I get to the inside curb, I start to accelerate again. We want to cut a little bit off the inside curb, just make sure you don't hit the inside anti-cut, and of course utilize all of the available room on the outside. If we go any further than the outside anti-cut curb, we will get a 1x. It is really important to get a good exit out of turn 1, and that's because we're going to be flat out for quite a while. Turn 3 is a great place to try and overtake, especially because you can draft all the way up to the car in front, and since we're going uphill we can actually brake later than we think. But when qualifying we want to stay on the left side of the track, utilizing all of the available room on the outside. And we're braking halfway between the 100 board and the 50 board here on the left. Here I aim for about 80% brake pressure, trailing that off all the way to the inside curb. When we get to the inside curb, we want to start to accelerate again. And we're easing it in just a little bit to make sure we don't overload the car. Again, cutting a little bit of the inside curb, but not too much. And using all of the room on the outside to make sure we get as high of an exit speed as possible. Just like turn 1, we want a good exit out of turn 3 because we are flat out all the way down to turn 4, which is quite a distance. And it's also a great place to try and overtake in the race. But in qualifying, stay on the left side of the track. Again, using all of the available room here on the curb. We're braking once we pass the 100 board here on the left. Here I aim for about 90% brake pressure, and I'm trailing that off all the way to the middle of the corner. We're cutting a little bit off the inside curb, and once we cut it, we start to accelerate again. Keep in mind that the track is falling away from us, so it's really easy to go too far here. And then we just use the room we need before going back to the right side of the track. Turn 6 is a place where people will try and overtake you in the race, especially if you get a bad exit out of turn 4. Make sure to open up turn 6 by utilizing the outside curb. Once we get to the 50 board, we want to brake a little bit. I do a quick hit to about 40%, trailing the brake all the way to where the inside curb begins. Once we get to that curb, we want to start to accelerate again. Here we're easing in the throttle just a little bit to make sure we don't go into the gravel on the outside. Make sure to utilize all of the room on the outside curb, as we also want to be there because we want to open up turn 7. At the end of the curb here, we want to lift off the throttle. Once I leave that curb as well, I do keep a few percent of brake. I hold that little bit of pressure till the inside curb. At the inside curb, we want to start to accelerate again, easing it in just a little bit, cutting all of the inside curb as well. And from now on, we are flat out all the way down to turn 9. Make sure to utilize all of the curb here on the outside to keep your exit speed high. Then you want to take the shortest route possible all the way down to turn 9. Turn 9 is also a place where people will try and overtake you in the race, but for qualifying, stay on the left side of the track, again using all of the outside curb. Once we get to the 50 board, we want to start to brake. I aim for about 30% brake pressure, trailing that off all the way to the inside curb. Once in the middle of the inside curb, we want to start to accelerate again. We do have quite a lot of room on the outside we can use, which also helps us with the entry to turn 10. For turn 10, we want to brake at the end of the red curb here on the left. Here I aim for about 55% brake pressure, quickly trailing off, and we're trailing off all the way to the inside curb. Cut as much as you can without hitting the anti-cut, and just as the car compresses, we want to start to accelerate again. Make sure to utilize all of the room on the outside to maximize your exit speed. And then it's a drag race all the way down to the start finish line. And that's my lap around the Red Bull Ring in the Toyota GR86 of a time of 1 minute 48.6. I have more track guides for the GR86 linked down below. Hopefully you found this one useful. If you did, leave a like down below, consider subscribing as well, and now for the uninterrupted hotlines.